In today's CTO Focus Session, I will be speaking with Juergen Mueller, the CTO and member of the Executive Board of SAP. SAP is one of the world's leading enterprise application software companies, and their systems touch as much as 87% of the world's transactions. In today's talk, we will be focusing on the enablers for digitalization of businesses in the years to come. And we will specifically focus on AI and 5G, creating the innovation platform for industries to modernize. So, very welcome, Juergen.
Erik, thank you so much. Thanks for having me in your CTO Focus Session.
It's really great to have you here. Because enterprise, and you know enterprises, I think, better than most, they all across all sectors, they go through massive modernization and digitalization. And in your view, what are the key technology enablers for these future businesses?
Yeah, enterprises need to change as long as their surroundings are changing. And they are changing a lot. So therefore, there's a lot that enterprises have to cope with. And of course, in the moment, generative AI is top of mind for everyone. For better customer experiences, for example, for creating completely new offerings, or also to drive internal efficiencies. And then there's many more things that companies look for. And from my perspective, it's always about the business outcome. So companies want to have a better customer experience. Companies want to make better decisions. So they think, okay, how can I do that? I need to be more data-driven. I need to have all information at the right point in time available. I want to be more sustainable as a company. Then, okay, what do? I look at my value chain and see where is, for example, carbon in my value chain. Can I work with my suppliers? Can I work with my customers to actually change things? And that drives to a much more networked environment for enterprises where they need to collaborate even closer with suppliers and also customers. Or they ask themselves, how can I be more efficient as well? And then they also need to look at, okay, how can I deploy technology to do it? And next to generative AI, we look at extended reality. Apple announced their Apple Vision Pro. I think that will change how enterprises work in that space. Then there's still, of course, like aspects of Web3, like smart contracts, quantum computing. Everyone is waiting, when is the big breakthrough there? And of course, everything needs to be connected. So 5G, where you are a leader in, also plays a major role as an enabling technology.
Yes, I think all of those technologies, they are affecting all industries. I absolutely agree with that. And to your point about being connected, of course, 5G, technology of choice now, it's already at a large scale being rolled out around the world. In fact, just looking a few years into the future, 2028, we expect that some 85% of the world's population will actually be covered by 5G and the rest, of course, with 4G. So you have coverage everywhere. And of course, that changes not just the consumer opportunities and experiences, it changes how businesses, small, medium enterprises can really digitalize and how they can use all these other enablers that you mentioned, Juergen. So I think it's important to look at it in this context, that it is connectivity, yes, but it's also a platform that enables these other changes. And one way to connect it to the business outcomes that you were after is of course to make it easier to buy services also from a network. A network today can be high performance, it can be low latency, it can be with certain security. But we're now changing the way that you can buy from networks over open network APIs, so that you can order when the enterprise needs certain guarantees, an SLA for something more advanced, maybe a remote operation, maybe something that is in a manufacturing chain requiring certain security or advanced positioning. All of those things can then be ordered over these network APIs. Now, this is not a new thing. We've seen APIs in the cloud industry and on the device side for many, many years. We're taking that concept now to be equally simple for developers when they are working with a network. So network APIs is an extension of the existing APIs. So from an SAP point of view, and we have discussed it a little bit over the last years, but in your view, what is the opportunity for SAP when it comes to network APIs?
Yeah, first a personal example, because my mother was a nurse, my aunt a medical doctor, so I always have the example of a remote surgery, for example. Can be in a rural area, in a developed country or developing country, and where you don't have so many experts available, and you won't need access to experts to help you. And for that, exactly as you mentioned, if you can get this capability for a certain period in time, that's amazing. And in more SAP-related and enterprise-related examples, collecting data in a very precise manner is very important. So for example, take track and trace. Yes, you can rely on GPS, but also now you have the opportunity to using 5G for that, indoor and outdoor in a very precise manner, for assets, for goods that are transported, etc. Helps a lot. Or if you are, for example, a field service technician, operating and maintaining, let's say, a wind turbine. And maybe you need some more special expertise because something is happening. So now you can actually, through your phone, through extended reality, get someone, an expert, helping you, looking over your shoulder to support you in that work. And these are just a few examples of how enterprises can leverage 5G and related technologies. And of course, we are embedding that into SAP systems as well to make it as easy as possible.
And I think that's really the key, to make it easy, because some of the examples that you gave, they are happening commercially in the field. Some markets, some customers are ahead of the rest, and I think they enjoy the benefit, business outcomes, extra help from in a remote technician situation, for example. Those are cases that are very real today. But by opening up this through network APIs, making it easy to use, and for developers, simple from your platform to get access to these capabilities, that's really the game changer. That's when it changes all enterprises, all industries, and not just the first commercial use cases that we see today. But it's an exciting opportunity, and I think there is much more to do in that area. You clearly painted a picture of autonomy and intelligent enterprises and what needs to change when it comes to enterprise of the future. So AI is, of course, top of mind here. An autonomous enterprise, is that a realistic thing?
We have the goal of an intelligent, sustainable enterprise, and we help pushing towards more and more autonomous enterprises. I give you an example from analytics. We all know dashboards, having one single source of truth helps a lot. It's a great tool. But we go one step further and basically have the system itself monitor certain KPIs. And if there's like thresholds that are now exceeded, then and only then the right people in the company get a notification. And of course, what you even want is you want to have a proposal for how to resolve that situation. And that information can now be even pushed to my watch, for example, so that I get the relevant information in the right point in time, but only that, with decision support as well. And yes, we also embed generative AI into SAP solutions. We are developing one digital assistant across all our solutions. And then we are embedding AI and Gen AI capabilities into all our functional areas, from finance to manufacturing to logistics, quality control, HR, customer experience, procurement. So all these areas. Also in our technology platform, the business technology platform, because integration can be supported by generative AI, analytics, building extensions for SAP, data management, all of that. And we do that by having generative AI capabilities in our business technology platform. So by doing that and offering that to customers, we help them becoming intelligent, sustainable, and more autonomous enterprises. How do you see 5G in that context?
It's a very similar kind of reasoning. On one hand, you could say that already 4G networks are automated to a large extent. But going into 5G, where the complexity grows, automation is imperative. It needs to be there from the ground up. So that's why AI and automation capabilities are built into networks, 5G networks at all levels, from the lowest level all the way up to the network operations side, where truly generative AI technologies are making game-changing advances to really run and operate networks, so the autonomous network. And that will just continue because we see that we can lower energy consumption. We can get even more efficient operation of networks. There's no question we have a lot to do there, both on the hardware and the software side. And AI is a critical capability in networks for that reason. But I think it's also interesting to reflect on the fact that, to your point about real-time data collection, networks being the nervous system where we really connect all the processes, all the sensors, all the applications, be it on the cloud side or on the device side. There is also the opportunity to link the AI and automation on the enterprise side and on the device side to what's happening in the network. Because the network is also an excellent host with its knowledge about the link, the channel, the connectivity and the performance of the connectivity, the latency of the connectivity, to be the host for AI. So you can run AI workloads at the edge of the network, and therefore you get the right performance for your AI workloads, and the applications perform better. And in some cases, of course, it can have to do with data residency, where you can store data and how local regulation requires you to do data processing, for example, in a local market. So there are those two aspects: AI as a critical enabler inside 5G networks and previous generations, and of course the connection to the applications, the enterprises building on AI and all its processes. So it's really this duality. So we're, I think, doing good progress on both sides.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Very different industries, but similar concepts. And I like, Erik, that we partner together to get the best solutions to our joint customers.
I think this is really the good point here, that our industry is moving very much from the consumer-focused 30 years of smartphones and tablets and everything connected to enterprises benefiting from 5G. And then working together, working in partnerships, realizing business values and outcomes that can be prepackaged in some cases, that can be developed as solutions that are replicable all across the world. These industries, to your earlier point, they will all go through more or less the same journey. So I think that really calls for partnerships across industries, such as the one we have between Ericsson and SAP. And it also, I think, brings up all the important parts about network efficiency, network performance, all the things that can't be done today, but you envisage in your outlook for what we can do. So it also stresses us as an industry to take the step even more into the future, to be at the leading edge of deploying technology, but making it business relevant.
It's an important capability, so please continue innovating there and pushing boundaries. It helps.
I think we have to, and it's great to do it together. So big thanks for that. If I just want to summarize this short chat, Juergen, one of my clear takeaways is that as you outline the future with creating business value across the domains that you mentioned, it's very much about a data-driven world, and that data-driven world needs to increasingly be real-time oriented. It's about collection, it's about impact, it's about inference at the right place. All of these things, of course, comes together with connectivity, and one way to make it easier to simplify both for the applications in the end, the enterprises, but the developers, is to make it available through open APIs. So network APIs become a natural industry opportunity here as we move forward. But it's not just because of the performance, it's really because of the automation aspects, and you of course talked a lot about AI and machine learning, generative AI affecting most part of the businesses, and that's critical across enterprises and of course across networks. But the real issue is that this cannot be done by any individual industry players. This has to be done in partnerships. This has to be done with a bigger ecosystem, feeding in their requirements, but also being active developers, being there to set requirements for what is to come. And I think that's really where strong partnerships leading to the future is really critical. So big thanks again, Juergen, for this chat, and also for the great collaboration to drive the industry. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Erik.